Adding disk and creating a logical volume manager partition. You look at this picture now. At the bottom of the picture, you will see we have hard disk 1, SDA, hard disk 2, hard disk 3. So every hard disk, we create a partition on top of it. Now, if you are doing LVM on top of it, then you would have to create physical volume. Physical volume has to be created for each partition. Then we create a volume group. This group will represent that entire physical volumes that will be coming out of those disks. And then we will create logical volumes. Once we have the logical volume, which will be exactly the same as a standard volume, but of course this will be under LVM, and then we're going to mount those logical volumes to our file system. So this is how it works. Let's get into our Linux machine and we'll try it, how it works. Now again, before we get into Linux machine, we have to go to Oracle VirtualBox and we will add a new disk to our Oracle VirtualBox. Okay, so this is our Oracle VirtualBox. It is powered off, so make sure it is powered off. Okay, go to the setting, click on storage, click on controller SATA, and then come down here and click on add new disk, add hard disk. Click on create new disk, leave the VDI default, dynamically allocated default. Pick a name, any name that you like. Let's say we're gonna pick disk Oracle. So if your database guy is coming to you and telling you, can I have an additional space, and you can label it according to the application. But again, it doesn't really matter, and the size of the disk I'm gonna pick is 1 gig. Then you click create. So now it is created and you simply click OK. Now once you're gonna boot up the system, it will have the new disk. So let's start our system. Okay, so once you log in, you open up a terminal. Now go ahead and become root. Okay, and run fdisk -l. Do it with more. Alright, the first disk you're gonna see is the 10 gig, is the one you created during the installation. The second disk you have is for 2 gig that you created previously, and it's partition information. And now the third disk you have, if you notice, it has the third letter SDC, which is right here, for 1 gig. So the first gig always starts with SDA, second SDB, and the third one SDC. So we already have the disk, we confirmed that. So now let's start creating the partition. So now if you notice from the background, let's go back to our slide. The first one is hard disk. We have confirmed we have the hard disk. Now let's create the partition. So we are going to the partition. If you look at the picture, you'll see on the green ones right above the disk are the partition. We'll go ahead and create those partition. So to create the partition is fdisk space /dev/sdc, because we are going to create disk for the third partition for the third disk. Then you hit enter, click on new, N to create a new partition, P for primary partition. 1 is the first sector partition, first partition that you want to create. So by default it's 1, so leave it as default and just hit enter. First sector is always starts with 2048 and it is giving us by default 2048, and leave it default, hit enter. Now the size of the partition you want to create, I wanted to give the entire size, so it automatically giving me the last sector of the disk. So I'll just hit enter and I'll pick the default value. So once that is done, go ahead and click P. So this will tell you that your partition has been created. But again, this partition has not been written to the table yet until we do W, which is to write. But at this time, since we are doing LVM, I want you to type T because we are going to change the type of this partition. Why? What is T for? So if you type just help, you'll see right here, T is change partition system ID. So we wanted to change it to LVM. So I want you to type T and hit enter. And here, I want you to type L to see what are the hex code associated with LVM. So LVM is associated with 8E that I know. So 8E is somewhere here, right here. See, it says LVM 8E. So just type 8E and hit enter. So now it says change type of partition Linux to LVM. So hit P again to confirm. Right, see it right here, it says Linux LVM now. So now it is done. Now go ahead and type W to write to it. Now it is syncing the disk. Good. So now our partition table is created. Now the next step is to create a physical volume. So right here where it says the blue ones, dev sd1. So the third step is to create physical volume. To create a physical volume, you have to run command pv create physical volume create and the name of the volume, which is dev sdc, and the name of the partition number 1. Then you go ahead and enter, and it says successfully created. To verify it, you could always do pv display, which is to partition volume display, and it will tell you that it created the volume with information, the PE size, the PV new physical volume size 1023 megabyte, which is 1 gig. Now we have created the physical volume. Now it's time to create the volume group. So we are on the fourth step right here. It says right here, if you notice, volume group. So we're going to create a volume group. To create a volume group, the command is vg create and the name of the volume group that you want to assign. So we're going to continue with our example. So we're going to example of Oracle. So we're going to pick Oracle underscore LV. You could pick any name, but I'm just being consistent. So LV stands for volume. I should pick VG, so volume group. So this will identify this group is for Oracle. And now we are assigning this volume to dev sdc1, right? So I want you to go ahead and hit enter, and it says volume group Oracle underscore VG successfully created. You could go ahead and verify it by running the command vg display and give the volume name, which is Oracle underscore VG, and it will give you the information about that group. Now we are done with the volume group. Now the fifth step is to create logical volumes. So right here, logical volume, which is also just like a partition. So now to create a logical volume, you have to run the command lv create, then -n new Oracle underscore v. This is the name of the Oracle underscore lv. The size, you type size as 1G because we have the size of 1G, and where is it gonna associate it to Oracle. Volume group, you go ahead and enter, and it says volume group Oracle VG has insufficient free space, 255 extents, 256 required. Okay, I picked exact same one. So what I could do is, instead of that, I could just pick 1023. So if you know, there is 1024 megabyte makes 1 gig. So let's try that and hit M and hit enter. Still not enough, so I'll just pick 1000. because it does need some of the space to hold its LVM information. Okay, so it is the logical volume oracle underscore LV is created. We could verify it by running LV display, and you will see right here it is created for that group. Okay, so now that is done, now we have to format the disk, assign the file system to it. So make file system dot xfs to dev oracle vg underscore oracle lv. This is the group right here in the middle, and this is the logical volume that we just created. So we are assigning xfs file system to this partition. So hit enter. So it had created now. Now it's time to mount this logical volume to our directory, wherever that our directory is. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new directory, mkdir, and call it oracle. Directory created. Now go ahead and mount it. So how are we going to mount it? We have to mount it /dev /oracle vg /oracle lv. Mounted where? To oracle. It has mounted. Go ahead and do df-h, and you will see with df-h, yes, right here all the way to the bottom, it has assigned this volume to this directory. You could also unmount it with umount command. Anyway, this is how you create LVM new disk partition. Some of the commands are there. You just have to remember those commands, how to run them, what is the order that you have to run them. Again, the order always goes by the layout that we have. So first we have hard disk, then partition, then physical volume, then volume group, logical volume, and then mounted to the file system.